Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, this is it!
This is Top Flight Time Machine. I am Andy Hotbody Dawson. Pow, pow, pow.
I'm Sam Nifty Delaney, so what?
Well, come along, it's a Friday morning episode. Now, this might not seem momentous to you if you're a regular listener, but it is to us, because this is the first time we've sat together and recorded an episode in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, so it's one of our longest ever gaps, that, I would say.
Yeah, we've been putting stuff out that you've been hopefully enjoying over the last at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks, yeah, because we've had holidays and stuff.
Yeah,
It's slightly overlapped. I've just got back, Sam, from the Edinburgh Festival.
Oh, yeah.
Last night. I went up for 4 days, and I am severely discombobulated now that I've got back home. Yeah, it's not relaxing at all.
What, because you were in Spain for 2 weeks, and then did you pretty much go straight to Edinburgh?
What we went to Spain for 10 days.
Right.
And then I did 4 days without the kids in Edinburgh. Basically what I did was I came back last Sunday night, dumped the kids with their mother.
Yeah.
There you go. I've had them for 10 days.
Yeah.
Your turn now.
Yeah.
I'm off to Edinburgh I'm off to Edinburgh to ideally laugh solidly for 4 days.
Lovely.
See you when I'm back. And but it's really fucking intense because I've done like 21 shows in about 4 days.
A lot of walking around.
Loads of walking around.
It is a beautiful city to walk around.
It's a beautiful city. It's a very hilly city.
Yeah.
North Bridge, which is the connecting point between the old town and the new town, seems to be shrinking every year because they're doing so many roadworks on it.
Right.
So everyone's just kind of funneled into one side of the road. So that's the fucking worst bit. But I walked, I've done 21 shows. I've walked 26 miles.
You went to 21 shows?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
5, 6, then 4. I think that's 21. And I think I drank 25 pints as well.
Lovely.
But it was great. It was brilliant. Really good. It's not cheap. I tell you, it's not cheap accommodation wise. But if you can ever get up there and experience it, it's really good. Do your planning. Do your logistics.
I've done it
read
a few
the
times.
reviews.
I used to go up for the TV festival a lot, and
Oh yeah.
and then always like sort of add-on days. So while I was there, I could go to shows, but almost always, I think the last time I went was within the first month of getting sober. So that would have been 2015. I haven't been since.
Right.
There's a lot of drunken, chaotic memories from all of the time at the Edinburgh Festival. So I do feel it's a bit triggery for me, but I've told you about the time. My favourite time was when I was a guest of Skoda, and I had to escape a lacklustre comedy show by pretending to smoke cigarettes. Even though, as is well documented, I've never been a smoker until, of course, this last year,
recently,
when I've got really into it.
Yeah,
just as it's going out of fashion. I know, and I was outside with my girlfriend at the time, now my good wife, and the PR caught us because they'd flown us up, put us in a lovely hotel and all of that, and all they asked was that we attended this comedy showcase that Skoda had sponsored. I mean, fuck knows what their strategy was there, but whatever. And I was just not enjoying it, nor was my missus, and we were like, they've given us a fucking really flash hotel room in that hotel, the Balmoral, right?
So they could be cavorting in there.
Yeah, my rationale was, why are we here watching not very funny, or to me, I mean, I'm not saying it was objectively shit, it just, we weren't enjoying it that much, when we could be in an all expenses paid hotel room. Do you know what I mean?
Living it up.
Living it up. I was like, match of the day starts in a minute. What am I sat here for? But the PR have been pretty firm without actually saying you have to watch. We're going, obviously it's really important to us that you sit for the whole show. We were like, fuck this. So they saw us sneak out. They said, what are you doing out here? I said, oh, just popping out for a fag. And they were like, oh, really? Well, we'll stand here with you while you have your fag.
What brand do you smoke? Exactly.
Oh, God. This is delicious. Oh, I tell you what, I needed that. This
is one of the best fags I've had today.
Oh, that goes down rich and smooth.
Like honey.
I can feel that smoke in my lungs. It was like that. And then when they turned their back.
Did you get ushered back in then?
No, when we then they sort of
Legged
wandered. Once they'd seen me smoking, although smoking, you can always tell someone who doesn't smoking, and so I felt as if they were observing my technique and thinking
they hold the cigarette within the V sign right at the bottom. At the
yeah,
apex
exactly.
Of the V, don't they?
So I was doing all of that, trying not to cough, and I could feel this PR sort of scrutinising me and thinking, I'm not so sure. You look like a real smoker. I think this is part of an escape plan, right? Like in a prison movie, I was going to sew together some pillowcases stuffed with rocks and put them in my chair where I'd been sitting in the show with a smiley face drawn on it, right? And no, what happened was, once she'd sort of observed me for a sufficient amount of time, she was like, okay, so we'll see you back in there in a moment. And I was like, yeah, of course. Wouldn't miss it for the world. When she turned round, like, my missus was like, we've been busted here. We're going to have to go back in. And I was like, I think you're right. And at that moment, a black cab just happened to be, like, crawling past in traffic. And it was one of those moments where it was like, it's now or never. And I just went, fuck it, let's jump in that. So without even flagging the driver, I ran over to taxi, opened the door, like, implored my missus to jump in after me, and we jumped in.
While it was still slowly moving.
Yeah, it was still slowly moving. I went, the Balmoral. He's like, hey, no problem. And I shut the door, and you know what we did? This is I think the only time I've ever done this. I crouched down on the floor of the cab so they wouldn't see me disappearing.
Yeah, brilliantly done.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than seeing a bad comedy show, though. I saw one.
Well, that's not bad. That's pretty good odds, mate. You saw how many shows did you see?
Come on, you know. I saw 21.
21? You only saw one that you didn't like?
I saw one duff one. And it was somebody who I thought might be pretty good, but they weren't.
Right,
It was based on stuff they'd done a long time ago, but yeah, that's all right. But I'm not going to name them. But there's a follower on Twitter. I don't know if he's a listener of this podcast as well, but called Most But Not All. And he's into his comedy. No, I'm sure he's a listener. He's coming to a London show, I think. And he's really good. He puts tweets out with big lists of who you should see.
Oh, okay.
And he's generally bang on. So I do a little bit of extra research and then get them all booked in nice and early.
Yeah.
And but I'm completely fucked from all the walking around and just the whole act of sitting in a room and laughing kind of non-stop for an hour. It's like physically exhausting.
Yeah. Burns calories, mate. Burns calories.
I hope it does. Burns
more calories than CrossFit, apparently.
That and kissing.
Laugh at. Yeah.
Kissing burns calories as well, apparently. Didn't do
really?
any of that.
Depends
though.
how you kiss. Depends how robust a kisser you are. Me
if
myself,
you kiss really athletically.
I'm a very gentle and sensual kisser.
Yeah.
So I don't. So whilst the ladies love that, it's not a great cardio workout.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm more of a rhythmic kisser.
Right.
You know that thing for reviving someone's heart where you got to do the pumping to staying alive.
Yeah.
Boo, boo.
Oh yeah,
boo.
yeah.
You got to
You
follow
do
the
it to
beat
that.
in your mind
Staying alive.
while you're doing the CPR.
Is that what you do with your tongue? Is that the rhythm of your tongue going in?
No. Come on, feel the noise by Slade.
Ah, okay, yeah. That's an aggressive kiss. But that's what some people like, an aggressive kiss. Some people like a gentle kiss.
There's room for all kind of kissing.
I like it.
So that was Edinburgh, yeah. What you got? You got anything good?
Well,
you must have.
Many things have happened to me since we last spoke. Probably the thing that has been most in my head that I've been itching to talk about was I went to Portugal, family holiday, lovely, all inclusive, fucking brilliant. When we got there to Portugal, Faro Airport, there was a coach to connect us to the resort.
Okay.
But when we came out at the airport, by the way, if you're wondering where this is going, just tag it, this and that. We haven't had a very good this and that for a while, not from our personal experiences. No. I think that this and that kind of started. Obviously, Pablo Canago was the guy who sort of sparked the cult of this and that. Yeah. And then I think the first sort of experience of this and that in the wild from us personally was me and my hire car Avis experience in Mallorca some years ago. maybe 4 years ago. So this is the first I've had in a while, but it was a good one. We got on. We came out of the airport and there was like loads of motorbikes everywhere. Like, I don't know if you know, like in the film Weird Science, when at the end all these motorcycle mutants kind of break into the party, right?
Yeah.
There was a load of people who looked like that, but like loads of them riding around like the airport with flags and everything, right? And sticking out the back of their butt. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? So I get to the coach for the connection and the rep's there and she's saying, oh, hello. And she's got a clipboard and she ticks our names off and she goes, okay, just so you know, put your luggage in, just so you know, there may be a little bit of a delay in getting you to the resort today. And I said, oh no, because they'd said it was a 40-minute connection, right? And obviously you're knackered. Our flight had been at something crazy like 6 a.m. You just want to fucking get there.
That's just long enough, 40 minutes,
40
isn't it,
minutes,
for the connection and the coach?
And I'm like, oh no.
Any more than that.
Oh no. And she went, I said, why? Is it to do with all these motorbikes over? She went, yes, there is actually a parade today. And I said, a parade? What sort of parade?
Hurrah!
Right? What sort of parade are we talking here? She went, well, the driver will be here in a moment and he will explain, Eduardo, right? At this point, right, a swarthy man, quite unshaven, large, in his 60s, short sleeve shirt, which of course is what all coach drivers by law in any part of the world always have to wear. Polyester, short sleeve, button down white shirt. He suddenly comes around the corner, right? Leans against the back of the coach, looks at me, and he goes, a motorcycle parade, my friend, right? And I go, a motorcycle parade? He goes, biggest one in Portugal. And I go, so what does that mean? Traffic? He goes, oh yeah. And I go, how much? How long is it going to take us? And he just laughs, right, and goes, this is genuinely what he said to me. On the coach, there's like about 10 other families just sitting and looking out the window. It's only me and my family. We've got there last, right? So he just looks up and down and he goes to me, we're fucked. And I think some of the families could hear. They all look worried. And I've just started pissing myself laughing. My wife and kids are looking a bit pissed off. Because to be honest, like, we didn't have the fucking energy for this. But I'm just straight away thinking, alarm bells, I've got one here. Right?
Content.
Yeah. We're fucked. Right? He goes, but we'll see what we can do. Come on, let's get on. You? And he points at me, right? Because I think he's warmed to the fact that I've laughed at him saying we're fucked. He goes,
yeah.
You're sitting up front with me, my friend, right?
You're the leader.
So I'm like, great, I don't mind. So we've had to cram on this packed coach. It wasn't a massive coach, it was a mid-level coach, right? Weren't a minibus, weren't a big coach, mid-level. And he gets me to sit up front, so I immediately feel quite important, and I'm sort of quite energised by it. There's something about his energy that I'm sort of drawn to.
I'm not going to criticise you, Sam, here, but this is the moment when voice recorder should have been activated
I know.
on the phone.
Oh, fucking hell. Because now this is 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, what I've been thinking for these last 3 weeks, maybe I should write this down or something. This is like, I don't want to forget it, because so many things happened over the next hour and a half. He was like, huh. So I said, so when you say we're fucked, how fucked are we? How long do you think? He goes, 40-minute journey. Today, maybe 4 hours, maybe 5. Who knows, right?
What?
And I went, no way. And I went, look, mate, if that's the case, we might be better off just fucking getting off, having a bit of lunch here at the airport and just fucking going about our business till it all dies down later rather than sitting on a hot coach. He goes, no, my friend, we will always find a way. Get on the coach, right? So we start driving, and sure enough, there is fucking thousands of motorbikes everywhere. And he says it's the biggest motorcycle parade in Portugal, right? And he seems really proud about it, which annoys me slightly because I'm thinking, stop being proud about it. This is a disaster. And he goes, usually I would be at the parade. And I go, oh yeah, why is that? He goes, I said, are you motorcyclist? Motorcyclist? I'm in the Algarve's best motorcycle gang, right? So I'm like, oh my God, right?
Best gang, as decided by who, sir?
Yeah, exactly. I went, oh yeah, what's it called then? He goes, pass me that. And he's driving along while this conversation's happening, and he's got one of those, bit like that bag that you were looking at for a while. I think you were looking for a bus conductor's satchel, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
He had a satchel, not unlike that. Even though he didn't need one, because he wasn't a conductor, he was a driver. But I think he just liked the look, which, fair enough, it was a good look. But he had it on the dashboard. He goes, throw me that. So I get it, and I throw it to him. Then he holds it back out to me. He goes, get my wallet out. He's driving along while he's saying this, right?
Can I just interject? Can we just for a moment both think about the majesty of the dashboard on a coach?
Yeah, it was a huge dashboard, which was wonderful. And he's gone, chuck me the... he's gone, go in there, get my wallet out. So I get his wallet out. He goes, right, look at this. And whilst he's driving at this stage, because he's gone a little bit of a back route to get out of the airport, we're going at a decent speed, and he's obviously got his Ray-Ban aviators on, and he's driving one-handed, and he's fiddling around in his wallet through all his cards, and eventually he pulls out his membership card to this motorcycle gang. And it's really official. It's not how, I don't know, it's not how I imagined a motorcycle gang would be so organised. It was, the logistics of it was quite impressive. Because it was laminated. It was laminated. Yeah. It had a photo. It had his face on. It had his name. I can't remember what they were called, but the background of the card was all motorcycle-y stuff. So it was a bit like a sort of a rock. There was rock iconography, like a snake, a skull, a motorbike, etc.
Yeah.
So I was like, fucking hell. He goes, yeah, there's my membership. I've been membership 10 years here. This is where I'm from. Right? So I'm like, oh, that's great. And then he goes to me, my friend, do you trust me? Right? And I go, mate, I don't even know your name. And he goes, my name is Eduardo. Do you trust me? And I was like, well, I said, it's a strange question because I've just got on your coach and I don't know where this is leading. Right, you're saying, do I trust you? If I'm thinking to myself, if I just say yes, just to fucking whatever, to get through this, he might say, right, now, in that case, I'm going to take your wife and children away with me for a while. You've said you trust me, right? So I said, all right, fuck it, I trust you. And he goes, okay.
Take them.
He goes, I'll take your, I lived in the Algarve my whole life. I'll take your special route. You're not going to believe it. Right, and he goes, "If you'll trust me."
At this point, there's just you and him. The other passengers,
but I said to him,
away.
Well, the thing is, I said, I'm sort of all right with it. I said because I'd rather keep moving rather than sit in traffic. I said, but there's a load of other families here. I look around, and he goes, "Don't worry about them. You up the front. You'll trust me." So he's appointed me as a spokesperson for all these other fucking families I'm not even spoken to. So I went, all right, fine. So basically, he started driving around the back streets of Faro. And I'm like making conversation at this stage. And I've gone, all right, so you live in the Algarve, do you? Yeah, I got a great place. And I go, really? He goes, yeah, I live on my own. I have women sometimes, but I live on my own. It's a great place, right in the centre of town. You wouldn't believe the area. And I go, oh, that's nice. He goes, you want to see it? And I go, what, now? And he goes, yeah, it's not far. And I go, is it on the route? And he goes, well, it's 5-minute detour, right?
Pretty much.
He goes, 5 minutes. And I go, well, I don't know. He goes, don't worry, my friend, I'll show you. He's driven me to his fucking apartment. There's loads of people on this coach, right? He's driven...
Can they hear this conversation as well?
Well, I didn't know. As it transpired, jumping to the end of the story, at least one of the families heard everything, right?
Yeah.
But, thank God, they were entertained, right? And so
good.
But I didn't know because I felt awkward to them. So he's like, but I didn't agree. I didn't say, yes, I want to see your apartment. I said, well, look, I don't know. You know where we're going. I don't know where we're going. Yeah, it's 5 minutes. We're driving like, I thought it must be on a main road. It's not. It's in like, there's little roads and he's driving this massive fucking coach just to drive me past his apartment. He goes, look, up there, you see? That balcony, that's my apartment. And I'm like, oh, great, mate. Great, that's lovely. And he's going, see? And he's like checking out. You see, you look at the right one, the second one. I go, yeah, all right, yeah. You see this area? And I go, nice area is it? He goes, nice area? Put it this way. 6-minute walk to the bank. And I go, wow.
No, the word beginning with B that I was expecting there was beach. I'll be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't expecting bank.
Exactly. And then I go, have you got Eduardo? I said, have you got a nice sort of coffee bar that you go to, like, for your coffee in the morning? He goes, of course, my friend. And I go, is it that one? There's one right opposite his thing, right?
Yeah.
And I point at it, I go, is it that one, is it? And he looks at me like a man, goes, no, that one's fucking shit. Like, what are you, a cunt? Of course it's not that one. So I go, oh, all right. Looks all right to me. He goes, no, it's shit. I'll show you my one. I go, no. He does another detour to show me his coffee bar. I mean, I was only making small talk. I go, that one looks exactly like the one he deemed shit, right? Anyway.
Jalapeño.
Here's a brief but annoying message to let you know that you wouldn't be hearing this brief but annoying message if you were a subscriber to our Iron Filing Society Patreon offering.
For the price of a pint and a St. Clement's each month, you can get up to 4 episodes a week, 9 months before the rest of the world gets them. Early access to regular episodes, lots of other marvellous benefits, and there's absolutely no adverts or brief but annoying messages like this that will get right on your tits.
Find out more and subscribe now at tftimemachine.com/ironfilings.
Jalapeño. Jalapeño.
Then I look, he goes, let's have some music, right? And I look, and he's got a CD player on the coach, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, one of those front-loading CD players, which I hadn't seen in a while. And on the digital display, almost inevitably, it says, the best of Dire Straits, right? So I've taken a snap of that surreptitiously on my phone and sent it to my wife, who sat up the back, right? She sat at the back, my daughter, and I just sent it to her. And I said, fucking, he's got the soundtrack sorted. And she was like, I know, I can hear it. Perfect music for when you first arrived on holiday. Which in a weird sense it is, because it reminds you of being on a holiday in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
And we're driving along, and by this stage, because he's taken us this back route, we have got onto a motorway, and it's pretty open road, so he's flooring it, right? We're going like 80, 90 kilometres per hour, right? Yeah. Obviously, one-handed driving. He's been fucking around with his wallet for the motorbike card and all of that, right? Mm-hmm. And he's telling me all sorts of different stories about his love life, this, that, and the other. And he's gone, you like Dire Straits? And I go, yeah, of course. Who doesn't? They're great. He goes, my favourite fucking band of all time. What a band. And I go, yeah, they are a fucking good band, right? And he's like, and he goes, I seen them in Lisbon. I seen them in Amsterdam. I fly all over, see them. And I go, yeah, brilliant. And then we carry on driving, and while he's telling me all this stuff, once in a while, right, a song will come on. Like, let's say it's like Romeo and Juliet, right?
Yeah.
And he's got big, meaty coach driver arms. You know the sort, right?
I do, yeah.
And while we're driving along at 80 or 90, a song will start and he'll go, fucking hell, Samuel, feel my arm, right? And he holds his arm out to me and he goes, you feel the hairs? They stand up because of this song. That's how they made me feel,
wow.
Right? And I'm like, and I had to fit and he go, feel! And I thought it was like, you know, you think it's rhetorical, but it wasn't. He really was like, so I had to feel his arm to check. And the hairs on his arm were standing up, Andy. I can't lie.
Yeah.
It was like, but then like that would carry on. So like 20 minutes later, we'd be having some other talk about like the local economy, for example, right? I have to work. That's why I'm not at the parade. You know, summer, there's no work here all year round. The tuna industry, fucked. The tuna, they don't come here no more, right? He didn't know. Did he know why? That was a separate tangent. These were the sort of conversations I was having. Like, we had a half-hour chat about fucking tuna fish, right? They go, the tuna, they don't come no more.
The tuna don't come no more.
They don't come.
Things to do.
They don't come no more. The tuna industry fucked.
I don't know why.
It's all tourism now. I gotta work in summer, right? That's why I not go to the parade.
The tuna now go to North Africa now. It's cheaper for them.
Yeah, cheaper, nicer, cheaper, easier, less paperwork. Right?
Less deregulation. Morocco.
You know what tuna are like? They do whatever's easiest. They're that kind of fish. Path of least resistance. Right? And we're driving along, and he's going, yeah. He goes, been out with some 3 sisters last night. The oldest one, she's 60. But let me tell you, she's still nice. You know, some women that get 60, they're not nice no more. She's still nice, Sam. Right? And I'm like going, and I'm looking around. There's all these like other women on the coach. Who, a lot of them look about 60. I'm thinking, fucking hell, mate. Right? And he goes, but one of them, she always come round near parade time because she knows I can get tickets to the parade. Right? And I go, yeah, because of your... Yeah, because I'm in the best motorbike gang. Right.
It's a ticketed parade?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know whether there was certain events like, you know, like the
there
Fringe.
Might be, yeah.
I thought it was like there might be the
VIP
Fringe.
areas.
There's a main event,
yeah.
And then there's Fringe events that are ticketed. I don't know. But he goes, she come to me always at parade time. I said to her last night, I like to see you and go out for coffee, but it's always near parade time. You always want something from me. Sooner or later, I need something back. She knew what I meant, right? And I'm like, oh my God. And he goes, and you know what? Her sisters were there. They knew what I meant too. And they say, that's fair. That's fair. He wants something back from you. And I said, so they think you and her getting together is a good idea? Ha ha ha. Very good idea, my friend. They think it's a very good idea. And it is as well. In the middle of all this, then all of a sudden, he'll come and go, Phil! And he'll hold his arm out again. Like, it kept interrupting conversations midway through because the song would change. And let's say it'd be Brothers in Arms. My brothers in arms. And they go, Phil, my arm! And I go, oh, yeah. Again, you see? The hairs are up again. Right? It was almost every time the song changed. Phil! And you'd be having like a deep conversation. They'd be like, feel it!
The hairs are just up constantly then. It's all
well, they'd go down a little bit. I think they went down, I sort of tracked it. They went down in the sort of like the poppier song. So like Money for Nothing.
Money for Nothing. Yeah.
Walk of Life. I think he liked them, but they're not hair tinglers, are they?
Didn't move him.
Which is fair. I mean, Brothers in Arms...
Did Private Investigations come on?
No, I wish it had, yeah. But for me, it's one of those rare cases where the cover is better than the original of Private Investigations, because it's all about, you know, that geezer in Dick and Dom in the bungalow, isn't it?
Yeah, Harry Batt, yeah.
You'll never beat his version
Find it
of
on
it.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask, I should have said, are you familiar with the Harry Batt version of this? I tell you what I did tell him. I told him that Newcastle United ran out to that Dire Straits song, which he was tremendously excited about. He knew a lot about football. I know everything about football, my friend, and nothing you can't tell me. Right? So he and you know, he did know quite a lot about football. The other thing he said, which was great, was I said, I came here in the 80s. I said, my first foreign holiday when I was a kid was my dad had a mate who had a timeshare, right? This would have been like about 1983. And my dad took me and my brothers on to this villa that belonged to his mate, and it was on a resort that I think it's quite famous. Anyways, you know, a lot of people who've been to Portugal know it's called Val de Lobo, right? And that was my first sort of foreign holiday where there's a swimming pool and all that. And I goes, "You've been before?" And I go, "Yeah. I came in the early 80s. I stayed with my mate's dad's place, my dad's mate's place, a resort called Val de Lobo. Is that still going?" Yeah, I mean, Ronald Koeman's still got his place there. Which I found hilarious. Just the casual way he said it, as if like, of course, you know Ronald Koeman was there, right? Was that your dad's mate, Ronald Koeman? Yeah, Val de Lobo, Ronald Koeman's still got his place there. And I go, was that when tourism kicked off here in the Algarve? Yeah, it used to be a secret, only Portuguese people, but you know what it's like. Once Cliff Richard and Bonnie Tyler got their places here, everyone wanted to come. Right?
The King and Queen.
And I said, is that it? He goes, yeah, you don't know that? Cliff Richard and Bonnie Tyler, they kicked the whole thing off in the late 70s. They both do magazine interviews talking about they got villas in the Algarve. Next thing you know, whole Algarve filled with English. But I didn't want to pick him up because I mean he was just one of those guys you just had to let him talk, right? It was like he didn't ask me a single question, but that was fine with me. But I did think to myself, hang on a minute, Bonnie Tyler, late 70s. But I always, my first awareness of Bonnie Tyler was when she did holding out for a hero, right? In Total Eclipse of the
I'm going to
Heart.
turn into tune machine mode here. Bonnie Tyler had a hit in 1979, I think, called Lost in France.
Right, okay.
So,
Well, it should have been Lost
either
in
that or
Portugal.
he might have his dates wrong. You know,
He
or
was
it might
very
all be a
clear. He
lie.
said in the late 70s, Cliff Richard
Right.
and Bonnie Tyler both gave separate magazine interviews in which they mentioned villas on the Algarve.
Did he
right?
name the magazine?
No.
I have copies here.
Yeah, it was a game
Laminated.
changer. It was a game changer for tourism in this region. Overnight, nothing was the same again.
Positives, negatives, it all weighs itself out. What can you do? You can't go back.
No, in a way, we have a lot to thank them for, but let me tell you, Samuel, we have a lot to be angry with Cliff Richard and Bonnie Tyler about as well. And that is an anger we will never forget. Never.
They have both now moved away because we began to march on their homes. placards.
Many people blame them for the tuna leaving our seas.
The motorbike festival used to march on their homes on wheels.
So that was him. I'm sure there's other shit he said that I can't remember. But on top of that, there was one other this and that where on the Thursday, about fifth day I was there, I started to feel a little bit ill, mate. And I was worried. I had a pain in my ear. I was shivering. I had a fever. So I thought, fucking hell, I'm going to have to go to the doctor. So I got a cab into the town to some medical centre which was in a shopping mall, right? It was quite a nice place. They kept me waiting for a while. And then eventually I came in to see this doctor. And he was like a sort of a jolly, quite handsome man. White coat, loads of certificates on his wall. I sit down and he goes to me, "So, Mr. Samuel," everyone called me Samuel there, right? "Mr. Samuel, tell me this. Why are you here sitting with me and not on the fucking beach?" That's what he said to me. He's a fucking doctor. So I told him all of my symptoms and he goes, "Right, let's have a look in your ear," right? So he looks in both ears. He goes, "Fucking hell." And I go, "What?" He goes, "I can't see in that. You got too much bloody wax in them. Come on, we'll get it out. Come with me," right? So we go into another room. There's a male nurse there. He's obviously his mate, and they're having loads of banter in Portuguese, right? He goes, "Okay, let's get your ears cleared out. First thing first." So I don't know if you've ever had your ears syringed, Andy, but it's a peculiar experience. I'd had it once
I haven't
before.
had it done, no.
It's sort of, it's nice and nasty at the same time.
Yeah.
Bit like being
It's I
wanked
heard it's
off
disorientating
aggressively.
once the wax is out and you've got like
it's
enhanced
amazing.
hearing.
Yeah, suddenly you're in like, you feel like you've got dog hearing, right?
Is
Bat
this,
hearing.
Is this why your headphones are always leaking when we record these episodes? Because you've had too much wax in there?
Possibly.
Oh.
But anyway, he goes, "Right." And he gets this big sort of pump, fills it with hot water. And he goes, "I pump it in this ear." He goes, "But with you, I watch out. It's probably going to squirt out the other one." He'd only just met me, the cunt. He goes, "Don't worry, that's just a little joke we do on people." I don't, and he's doing all this. We don't mean it personally, right? And then he squirted this fucking water in my hair. It was like, in my ear, it was like boiling. It must have been 100 degrees. Going, "Ah!" You go, "What the matter, my friend?" I go, "The fucking water's boiling, aren't you, nutter?" "Don't worry, it's over now. Look at this." And he holds this fucking horrible dish in front of me, full of earwax. It was quite unbelievable.
Whoa.
Big lump of it,
Wow.
like a pebble. That was disgusting. He goes, "Okay, that's part one. Now let's take a closer look." And he takes closer. He goes, "Right." And then he tested me for COVID. He goes, "I don't know what the hell's the matter with you, but you're on holiday, so I don't want to take any chances. I'm going to give you some antibiotics." He goes, "Maybe." He goes, "You been going to the toilet a lot?" I said, "I've been pissing non-stop." He goes, "Yeah, probably kidney infection. I tell you what I do. I'll give you some strong antibiotics. It'd solve it." He goes, "And also, I'll give you these painkillers. So if your ear still hurts, take these. Take them 2 every few hours." And I go, "All right." So I leave, I get the prescription, I go back, I take the antibiotics, and within a couple of hours I'm starting to feel a bit better already, right? Sometimes antibiotics works like that. But then I go back to the room in the evening for a little lie down before my dinner, And I thought, fuck it, I'll take a couple of these painkillers as well. Right? They were big red things. They didn't look like painkillers I'd ever seen before. Ooh. So I took them. And straight away, I started to feel worse. The shivers came back and I felt really peculiar. So after about half hour of this, I Googled the name of these painkillers, right? And right. I looked it up and it said these painkillers have been illegal in the US and UK since the mid-70s. Right. It goes for their links to heart attacks and, this is the funniest bit, kidney disease. I was like, the bloke just told me I had a fucking kidney infection, right? So I've got a mate who's she's one of my mates from West Ham. She's a very senior kidney specialist, right? She's a consultant, right?
Helpful.
I've known her for years since she was a student doctor, but now she's like, so like, I don't call in many favours from her because I don't like to be honest with you. You've got a mate who's a doctor, so you're constantly texting. But I texted her and I went, Becky, listen. And I told her the old story. I said, this bloke in Portugal's just told me I've got a kidney infection and then he's prescribed me these. What do you make of that? She looked at me, she went, fuck's sake. I didn't know you could, I thought they were just illegal globally. I said, not in fucking Portugal. She's like, don't take any more of them. She went, plus, there's no way you've got a fucking kidney infection. Like, she said, it's just no, you just haven't fucking got one. That's mad, right? Don't take any more of those fucking pills. She went, maybe carry on taking the antibiotics, but not those fucking pills, because you haven't got a kidney infection. But if you do, that will definitely, like, make it worse, right? So I was like, fucking hell, this bloke's a nutter. So I stopped taking them and eventually the antibiotics got me better. But the funny twist to the story was when I came back to the room that evening after dinner, there was a note in an envelope in my room. And I opened it and it was a reception and it said, Dear Mr. Delaney, we just had a call from the medical centre in town saying that you received treatment from the doctor and then just fucked off without paying, right? I was like, yeah, I thought that's how it worked. And they go, and they said,
I got the little card.
So I went to see them at the reception, and they were German. This resort, it was all run by Germans, and they go, oh yes, don't worry, it is very common with our British visitors to always leave medical centres without paying. And I go, is it? And they go, yes, because you're British, you never pay for your healthcare, yes. So it is natural for you to just get your treatment and leave. We all find it very amusing. And I said, so the medical centre aren't fucked off? They said, no. They said it happens like 50% of all British patients. And the doctor always forgets to say as you're leaving, by the way, when you leave, you have to go to the reception and pay them, right? Like when you've had a massage or something or whatever, fucking haircut, right? And it's like just the Brits just get up and it's like they go, it's like getting up when you've had a haircut and go, cheers for that, ta-da, and just walking out, breezing out without paying. So I had to send someone back to fucking pay the cunt. But yeah, that was my other this and that. So I had a this and that doctor and I had a this and that coach driver and they were both great value for money.
The doctor and his pal probably high-fived each other after you'd walked out with those kidney infection tablets that were banned.
Silly bastard. We need to get shot of them. The thing that scared me the most was that they were banned in America, right? Because if you've, I just finished reading a book about the opioid crisis, and I was, and you anything you've ever seen or read about the opioid crisis lets you know that you can pretty much get any pill fucking legal in America. I mean, it's like Mexico. It's like the fucking Wild West. Like they sign off any shit as long as Big Pharma pay the fucking regulators and their fucking backhanders, right? So I'm like, never mind it being illegal in Britain. This shit's illegal in America. How dangerous does it have to fucking be?
The drug blizzard of America. Yeah. All right, well, we'll leave it there. If we've got any other holiday anecdotes to talk about, we'll make notes.
Yeah, there's some other stuff which we'll deliver on Monday.
Monday's episode might be slightly special, but you find out more about that when it happens.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, very quickly, the Airbnb that I stayed in.
Yeah.
In Spain for 10 days. In Spain.
Oh.
It was like a villa. Because it was meant to be me, 2 kids, and my parents, because it was supposed to celebrate my parents' 50th wedding anniversary, which happened in 2020. I was going to take them away in 2020. Obviously,
Yeah, I remember
shit
that
didn't
actually
happen.
when you were going to take them away in 2020.
And we got we put it back till this year. And in the end, my mum wasn't very well, and they couldn't go.
Right.
So we're going to try and sort something else out in the future. But this Airbnb, it wasn't cheap, Sam. It was for 5 of us. There was a pool, special occasion. It wasn't cheap.
I actually
was
saw
one
a
towel.
glimpse of your pool because we recorded a video message for someone while we were both in our respective holiday rigs, and you were in
You saw
the
me
pool,
submerged in it.
which is just a reminder to anyone out there. That's the level of content you can get if you pay a very small amount, really. I mean, we
If you
should have
time it
charged
right
that
as well.
guy more, considering you were topless in a swimming pool.
Yeah. I mean, we could do them in... I could do one in the bath if people want that. But
I'll
it's
do
gonna
it at the
cost
local
more.
council pool. I don't mind
Yeah.
going down there.
But anyway, this Airbnb, right, wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
1 towel per person for 10 days.
For 10 days, that's shit, man.
Yeah. 1 toilet roll per person for 10 days.
Fuck it. Well, when you're on holiday with that foreign food as well,
Well,
you're going to
yeah.
be needing a lot more.
I like to, when I go on holiday, I like to shit with impunity.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like to be held back.
No, it's one of the
I
best
don't wanna be
things about being
regulated.
on holiday.
Yeah.
You
of
can
course,
really
it's
just
someone else's
relax
It's on someone
into-
else's dime, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Shitting in
Someone
someone
else's
else's
bog.
plumbing. I call it
Half a roll.
I call it shitting off the clock.
Exactly. That's what a holiday's all about.
Yeah.
What half a roll of kitchen towel in the kitchen? Well, I've got to leave a review for this place. Do I go in studs up?
I think you should definitely say that because it's fair. Because I think the thing about Airbnb is that it is important that everyone's honest about each other because that's what makes it work, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I've
Yeah.
never really had I can't think of a bad bit. I've been lucky on the whole, but I always appreciate when people leave me a nice review.
Yeah.
But I think you're within your rights to politely
But
go.
they've already written their review of me because I can't see it till I've done mine of them. So theirs is locked in.
But were there good things about it?
It was a lovely villa. It was
Yeah,
beautiful.
so
Yeah,
that's
it was
fine.
great.
So you go blah blah blah, really good.
I'll mention that.
My only thing is there should have been more towels and more toilet roll.
The hospitality was 1 out of 5 because it just felt as though, there you go, fucking. Once you've had a shit,
There you go,
get yourself
English.
up the shop and buy some more bog roll.
How much you need to shit anyway? Come on. I heard all you eat out there is fucking hard-boiled eggs anyway. You're all bunged up.
I don't know whether it's part of the Airbnb culture. You get a minimum of what you need, and then you're supposed to provide. But 1 towel.
I think
per
the toilet roll,
Fucking
fair enough, because you're there for 10 days. You got to go and buy your own. I love going to the supermercado. It's one of the great
me
joys
too.
of
We went there,
holiday, isn't
pretty
it?
much every day.
First thing you do, you go down and you look for the ruffled crisps, don't you? Big fucking bag
Well,
of ruffled crisps in
Big,
some weird
massive bag
flavour.
of- massive bag of Lay's ready salted, day 1. Yeah. Loads of cherries.
I want a big bag of ruffled crisps in some weird flavour like sardine and fucking sour cream.
and paprika.
Yeah, exactly. So you can get your bog roll there, but the towel situation, that's unacceptable because you don't want to have to be packing towels. It takes up too much bag space, doesn't it?
I mean, you can easily wash towels in Spain and dry them within hour and a half, 2 hours.
But
That's
still.
not the point.
Yeah, but you're on
I need a
holiday.
backup towel while they're drying.
Yeah, you're on holiday. You don't want to be doing non-stop fucking towel laundry.
Fuckers. Anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd mention that, see what you thought. All right, then, we'll leave it there, and we'll be back with what could be a special episode on Monday or Sunday evening, probably, if you're IFS.
Yeah.
All right, then, thanks for listening. Enjoy your weekend. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.